Sion. So synonymous in my brain. Two Baus bans, right? Sion and Gragas. Are they going to go for the hat trick? Is realistically my question. And is this going to be something that we see out of them, right? Because I feel like whilst we focused a lot on the rest of the map, we haven't really spoken much about Max. And Max has had a silently equally as good, I would say, split. Maybe not as necessarily impressive. It will be a triple, but that does leave a 0 open. That would be my, guess here. This tends to be the Los Ratones priority. Whenever a 0 is up, they take it. So let's see if that's where they go and what Rich Gang's response is going to end up being in the 1-2.
I feel like the triple tank ban really opens up Kevo for that Ezreal though. And I feel like he will take it if that Azir gets locked in here. He might actually lock in like a really strong jungler right here, like the likes of Pantheon, even though he was hit slightly. It's still pretty solid. The Talia, really good into Azir in lane, but also really good to play for Silence as well, right? So if you lock in here, kind of like your mid-jungle duo, since Crowny does not play the Ezreal, you've got the chance to lock it in later down the line.
Okay. Wukong alongside this Talia, we know how strong the Wukong is, still provides a whole bunch of skirmishing. It's just not the same amount of global presence, obviously, that the Pantheon can utilize, which I'm expecting Velia will take up on the opposite side here. The question then really becomes what that third pick will be. In my mind, there is the Pantheon. I'm not super surprised, and I think for Crowny it just becomes about what one of his AD picks are. Blind here, right? He's lent a lot on, I think, mostly the Corki off the top of my head, when he's felt the most.
Corki or Jin.
Corki, Jin, like it's either Corki for kind of the lane priority, and then of course like the strong spikes in the mid game, or Jin for setup. If they had the Wukong and maybe Azir, I'll think about the Jin, but I feel like they're more likely to land on that Corki.
Let's present. There you go. So far, it's just a stable. It's coming together.
Hear me out. This is the perfect Ezreal opportunity, right? Mid lane not tanky, jungle not tanky. You've taken out Sion, Gragas, Cho'Gath. Not quite gonna be the case. They just want to prioritize Alaric on like a very heavy engaged champ. You saw how he is the fire starter for them as well. But I feel like LR should play it safe right here and actually do ban the Ezreal away. You don't necessarily have tools to pin him down with what's currently going on the side of LR. And apart from Volibear, if I'm not wrong, I can't recall any other tanky picks that I played over on the top side of the map for Baus.
Yeah, I mean, I love this though, because this is taking away one of the few like true engaged champions that Rekkles plays, right? I think one of the few things that it seems like only I've really been a big proprietor of outside of Baus' champion pool is that Rekkles has a very, very niche selection of supports that he wants to play, that he's comfortable on. And when it comes to the engaged champions, the true dedicated engaged champions, it's Rel, and then if you want to technically move to a more closer to neutral, it's Rakan and then Alistar, right? It's pretty difficult to play Rakan into Talia, Wukong, Rel, so that's likely not going to happen. They've banned away the Braum, and the Alistar is obviously one of the traditional one-to-one answers. So I love this here, and it does make me kind of question whether, like, what exactly we end up getting out of Rekkles. Like, the thing that comes to mind is maybe Janna, but I feel like they want a little bit more engage, re-engage, so I'm curious about what's going to happen there. No Ezreal ban out of LR, which is probably why Trouble's making up her face a little. I would just expect Kevo to lock it in.
I feel like exactly what you said, Rakan would fit perfectly there. And you can actually slide into the backline and be a little bit more protective. And Rakan has been a champion that Rekkles really chooses, right? I feel like this is the perfect Ezreal angle. I thought this was the perfect Ezreal angle for R3 as well, on the side of Rich Gang. Unless Baus right here locks in something like a Volibear, which is a very, very disruptive champion, gets really tanky towards that late game. And he has seemed to blind pick it every now and then. He's going to choose to go more towards the Jax. I feel like that makes it even better for Kevo, right, on the Ezreal.
Yeah. And Talia's gonna have fun with this.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Obviously, it will likely be the AP Jax unless something has drastically changed.
It's the superior Jax.
Baus does not change very often. You know, what was that? I think only a few weeks ago we started getting him to buy Doran Shield, and we're 8 months deep into the year. But okay, well, whilst I'm not opposed to a Bard game these days, I do feel like Rekkles is going to have to play particularly well in a setup with so much mobility amongst the carries, but also the amount of potential dive threat. Tempered Fates are likely going to be very defensive. I'll be curious to see how many proactive and playmaking opportunities he has to use that Bard with.
All I'm saying is that I'm very excited for this game. You know why?
Yeah.
Because every single champion in the game has so much mobility and
solid work. I was about to start saying, you know, 2 words.
You
movie.
signed okay.
Yeah, it's so true.
What do you mean charades?
Yeah, no, that's just true. Maybe I could have started asking you like champion names via charades. Maybe that's what happens if it happens again.
Let's do it then. Next time.
Next
Have a champ
time.
right now and make sure you have it prepared.
Yeah, all right. Okay, I've got one. When we get there. All right.
Okay.
Well,
let's
I
lock
can
in
wait.
then.
Yeah. What are you feeling like in this early game then, mate? 'Cause obviously we've got 2 very different drafts in a lot of ways. Double range bot that we were calling out when we were kind of musing in the green room. That might be pretty good for Lost Returns. But on the other side, you got that Wukong, the full clear angle. It is a big specialty, right, of Ozhan as well. Who's loved that Wukong?
Yeah, I think the biggest things I'm looking at right now are definitely the fact that, you know, Kevo and Ozhan have their comfort. Their best champions, or at least the very most played champion for Ozhan, this split has been the Wukong. And then Kevo's best champion, in my opinion, is just the Ezreal. So not pinching those from Lost Returns as we do some fishing. Just
Yeah,
pull
that's
that
the extra
corner around.
gold.
Will he get the gold one?
He did.
That is the
he
question.
got it. He got a gold fish. Well, he got a gold coin. So
Yeah, he got a gold coin, right? But he needs to get a gold one for 10, I believe.
Is that
But he doesn't
10?
quite
Oh, my
get
days.
it. And he's got to go back to lane now. Yeah. So he doesn't quite get it.
Oh,
That might be
he's got
misinformation. I am not a
53
Jax player.
gold. And he's not spent the early gold on a healing pot because he wants to go back and get early silliness
Classic.
as fast as he can.
I mean, Baus isn't a potion believer, right? He never buys potions. Honestly, Doran's shield is a really big improvement since EMEA Masters Finals. That's something he started doing as well. Yeah, so basically, you know, the D shield into the lane bully. I actually don't really like Jax in this matchup anymore. I think it used to be much, much better, and nowadays I think Cassante just wins. AP Jax especially just really isn't going to do much as the game goes on. Cassante will be a brick wall. Divine Sunder. It used to be much better.
Yeah, okay. So I'm thinking more this year. Wait, did it really change this year that much? No, okay. That's
No.
Divine Sunder was the whole thing,
It's been very Cassante favored for a while now, ever since they buffed the early game of Cassante. But because of that, I assume top will be a snoozer. What I've really got my eyes on, the fact that it's a double range lane down in bot side, which should slowly win lane if you're Crowny and Reckless. And I think it's on, you know, Ozhan to really break up bot side if he wants to make it so that his bot lane can breathe a little bit more. Otherwise, they're just going to get pushed in and they're going to struggle under tower. Unless Alaric can find some, you know, engages and make the lane volatile a little bit. So eyes on Crowny and Reckless. How well can they bully with that double range lane?
See whether there is that response angle from Alaric, who has been known to make an exciting engage or two, to say the least. And the other side, right, if you're starting to get prio bot side, that opens up value on this Pantheon to link up with Reckless and start roaming around the map and causing some chaos, especially once things like those level 6s come on through. The Tempered Fates, the Grand Starfalls can start making plays from a very long way away.
Yeah. Early recall for tier as well. I mean, you're talking about the Tempered Fates and the Grand Starfalls. I'm really looking at the Talia Flash. I think it's probably the most important summoner in this game, because if you do not have Flash on Talia this game, you are just going to get Bard ulted and die. It's definitely a win con the Lost Retoners have as the game goes on, with Reckless here, followed up by the Global. Nice combo from DeHaste. Already taken a recall for this tier, whilst Nemesis does still have his TP if he wants to recall and TP back. So, definitely in a comfortable spot if you're both mid laners at the moment. But as you can see, double range lane in bot lane. Going to get Prio and be able to shove in and secure that crab for Belia. Not too much bullying going on. Kevo and Alaric are still very comfortable as well, because you can see Ozhan get a full clear up the top side.
Yeah, he has decided to path away from the losing lane, I think, for now, just to make sure he gets that early Scuttle Crab, get back, get that first buy-in, and then maybe you can look to help down bot side. But that first clear being as stable as possible does make some sense. There's that Longsword and Ruby Crystal, pretty standard back for a lot of our fighter jungles right now.
Yeah, I mean, the game plan right here when you play Wukong, right, it's just to secure level 6, have a non-volatile early game, which is why when Wukongs get secure leads early game, you're very surprised and you're very happy in that kind of game state, because it's quite hard when your champion has no real hard CC and not great multi-man skirmishing. So Ozhan probably going to continue his full clear unless he can find an engage here, but vision fully down in the bot side river right now for Lost Retoners. It's going to be hard to find a gank, and he's probably just going to double back to his Grump and clear up to top again.
Will mount up down there, looking to get a stun onto Reckless. Just throw out that Shattering Strike, has his Aftershock procced. And worth noting, it is Aftershock, it's not Spellbook, which we have started seeing a lot more regularly.
Yo, I like that, man. I like that. Like, I'm gonna be real with you. Bring back Aftershock. I feel like supports are so scared to trade around, because, you know, before they would have Aftershock cooldown pretty consistently to be able to trade. And that way you would have more reasons to trade around a cooldown as well. But nowadays with Spellbook, it just feels like every support is way too safe in lane. It just don't really have that oomph anymore. So,
Baus has already started. Yeah, he's got back for the Blasting Wand. He doesn't need any pots, just wants AP as fast as he can. Teleports in and goes, right, time to go proxy.
Yeah, classic for Baus is to, I believe he rushes, I mean, this is from memory, right? So feel free to call me out if I'm wrong, but I believe he rushes Nash's Tooth generally and makes sure to get to that spike as soon as possible. He has Flash here, and Osan doesn't have any CC, so it's going to be a Flash ward hop away as Osan tries to chase. No follow-up going to be there, as Osan's scared of the potential collapse.
Yeah,
no
doesn't
eyes.
Go down. Oh, hang on. He's going to get the recall. If he doesn't, he turns around, hopped over the wall. All right, there we go. Not at all at risk there. Baus will just use his ward hop and get out. You know, standard stuff.
I mean, it's not ideal for Osan, right? Of course, you get the flash out of Baus, but that's what he wants. And now you've delayed your Wukong clear. You're going to delay your level 6 by a little bit, right? Like, that's a solid 20 to 30 seconds right there chasing. And in the meantime, the rest of the team on Lost Ratones, they're taking the first dragon. So DeHaste is going to be a human ward and check out the situation real quick. But realistically, he's not going to be able to do too much. As Value can always just flash away over this wall if the worst comes to the worst.
I don't feel like he's going to have to, because the other thing is he's going to have a magical journey. There you go. Straight out that way. There you go. Teleports out with the help of a mystical being. I don't know what Bard is. Some sort of like spirit.
Don't
thing
even.
that goes
The
beep,
lore,
boop,
man, it goes over my head every single time. He's like a deity, right? Like,
I think he
there's
might
like one
well be.
cinematic.
That's true. I remember that cinematic when he's on top of the mountaintops and everything as well.
Yeah, exactly. No, he's like some kind of god. He's like one of the most powerful beings in the universe or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But my issue is, Erica, that this all-powerful being that seems so cuddly and cute goes around picking up these small creatures and go, you are now my weapon of war. Let me yeet you, my child, and my enemies. Like, what is he doing with these meats?
Are meeps in the lore stronger than champions? I mean, I think that's the real question. Because if Bard's one of the most powerful creatures that's ever existed, and a meep is part of his arsenal, then a meep has to be, you know, pretty damn strong.
Genuine. Where is Necrit? Get me power scaling on meeps.
Exactly.
Freak, are you listening? Are you out there? What is the power level of a meep? I need to know.
Only real questions on this cast.
Exactly. Like this is the hard-hitting news and journalism we do here in the NLC.
I mean, if you've got any more, feel free. I feel like nothing is going to happen too quickly. I say that, but Velia has just hit level 6 on Pantheon. So looking topside, if there's an angle to ever set up a play with a global or mid or bot lane, you know, Cassante might be a little bit hard to gank. It's a Cassante, but, you know, in top and mid lane right now with this lane swap before grubs, if there's an angle with the Pantheon ulti, I think Velia can take it. A decent amount of setup at the very least with Bard Q and maybe ulti once he dings 6 soon.
He wasn't going to get a ward down. You were absolutely right. I could see that happening, especially with the lack of flash and Auric Nemesis just dropped out of lane with the Talia having a back. There was a world there where they could look for something, but I think they're more interested in the grubs that are about to spawn and saying, look, that's where we'd rather put our attention. They've got the ward control down, they've got the shove in mid, the teleports come back, and there are those grubs getting started. I think we might have a contest, though. Osan is around. He's got level 6 of his own.
Yeah, no TPs on the top lane, so it's a 4 versus 4 right now. Wukong ult is incredibly powerful, and the ultis for Lost Ratones aren't that great. So I really do think that this should be Rich Gang favored, and I think Lost Ratones are going to concede.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what's happening. Look, they've taken the one grub and said that'll have to do. They'll give over the other 2. They don't want to fight too aggressively, and you called out saying, look, this level 6 spike's just way more powerful.
They really aren't combat ultis, right? Like, Bard ulti is short, it's great. Stasis might pop a flash and engage, but Rockets on Corki and Pantheon ult Global, which is more of a teleport, isn't really going to be that impactful. It's not going to be as impactful as a Cyclone, you know, or a Rel ultimate in a big 4v4. So, yeah, going to play for 1 grub. Lost Returners make the call to play for 1 grub in their comms, and then they back off afterwards. And it's going to be Rich Gang early game focused, actually coming out on top.
Yeah, some stuff, good stuff there. The gold is relatively even, but they do get away with that play there. Of course, early on, Lost trying to get that dragon after there's that kind of failed chase onto Baus. It's not like they've not managed to find anything here, but I do like that you called out those ultimates, right? Because, like, the guaranteed combat value of a Cyclone is pretty damn high. For, like, the Bardol or the Rockets or the Grand Starfall, it's a lot more conditional. It's not like they can't be great ultimates. In fact, both of them incredibly potent. But it's a lot more conditional as to how they work in a straight-up 4v4, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I just think that they do less damage at this stage in the game. And just like you said, because they're conditional, they're really hard to land. And more guaranteed CC on the side of Rich Gang. And that's going to continue, in my opinion, on this next dragon as we get a swap down to bot side with Ezreal walking down in bot. Something to note is that Lost Returns are swapping back to make sure that they match. And Rich Gang are matching as well. Last cone gone, so any kind of flank potential with the Wukong over the wall is also eliminated. As we do a little item check-in, it just seems like everyone at this stage of the game is fairly even. I will say, though, at this stage, a Talia generally does come out on top of an Azir, because you have utility, and Azir on first item is really where he spikes. So I favor still Rich Gang, as he, Ozan still has that Cyclone, full summoners in this kind of a game state. I imagine Rich Gang here should take this dragon.
Baus again is now doing the proxy farm between tiers 2 and 3. Teleport not quite up from Matic, but it is kind of having a quick look down that river. I think he's going to get some water and look to proxy farm himself and look to go like for like on that front. No one started up any dragons as yet because we've still got 30 seconds on that spawn, so it's just about that warning game right now, that speed shrine.
Well, look mid though. Jax is on the way.
Oh, you're right, he is. Looking to potentially get onto someone. Yeah. The Xante's also collapsing, sort of, but he's just going for that proxy farm. But Baus, without the TP, he's going to walk into 2 members. He's got a counter-strike now. This one gets a bit weird.
It's a big ultimate.
Oh, and Grand Starfall as well. Looking to find an angle. Flash, stun from the shield. Val, second charge of the Cyclone, but I think Dahas is likely dead. Hozan tries to flash away. He's got nothing left, and they lose 2. There's the conditional value of your Grand Starfall.
But Baus is the one that face checks and he punishes them. The Haste and Ozan are the ones that get a 2-man ultimate, a 2-man counter-strike from the Jax to the face. You can see what Baus did was he proxied between the tier 3 and the tier 2 tower to find tempo to be able to move down and contest the dragon with them. But it looks like it's Baus that would be the one in trouble. But he actually makes it to the bush first, so it's Ozan face-checking alongside the Haste, and they take a full combo. If it was the other way round, they could probably find a Talia combo to chunk Baus, but at the end of the day, Nemesis shuffles in, the global from the Pantheon's there, and they find the 2 kills into the second dragon for Lost RATONES.
It's so well done, and again, this is why, folks, kids at home, ward that damn bush if you're trying to play around the dragon. Yeah. This will happen otherwise.
Yeah, no, I'm a big proponent of Lion Bush Ward and Banana Bush Ward. Those are my favorite wards in the game whenever you're contesting these kinds of dragons. But a game of inches, really, when whoever face-checked that bush first, who got in the bush first, would have probably chunked out the other. And Baus coming out ahead in that was really, really close. Now, Nash's Tooth and Nash's Tooth completed for Jax. Baus and Nemesis right there. It's a big spike. It's a really, really big spike. Rich Gang aren't happy with this, so I'd like to see items completion, maybe a Sundered Sky as well for the Wukong, and Sundered Sky's been completed for Velia too. Damn, that's a ridiculous spike on the side of Lost RATONES. I'd be very scared to fight now if I'm Rich Gang.
Yeah, I mean, that's nearly 1,000 gold leading the jungle because the 2 kills went to Velia as well. Look, Wukong, we've already said, look, from behind, not that fantastic. Needs to get some items as well. It's not like Wukong is exactly a low economy jungler. Wants to get a fair amount of spikes. You spotted something.
This is really abnormal. Almost every Wukong, I mean, you watch a bunch of LPL, right?
Yeah.
Almost every Wukong goes Triforce. This is very, very abnormal. It never really happens.
Sun Sky build, yeah.
Usually, there's an argument versus burst-focused compositions, but almost always Triforce is too strong for Wukong because of the Sheen procs chaining. So actually going for a more defensive option here. Ozan going to limit his character potential a little bit whilst being a bit beefier. Very, very abnormal. I thought I'd just highlight it right there because I know you're a man of LPL as well.
I am. We saw a Trundle do the same thing earlier as well, so a lot of this Sundered Sky for extra tankiness coming on forward in favour of the Triforce. A little bit of a skirmish in the enemy jungle. Ozan's forced to use the Cyclone defensively, and I don't think LR are going to be done. Dahas is around, does have the Weaver's Wall. How aggressively do LR want to play this? Alaric at half HP is going to get stunned into a wall. Don't know if they're going to be comfortable. Continue to contest, going to reset slightly. But I think Rich Gang are going to say that discretion's the better part of Valor and just back away, blue buff down.
Yeah, I mean, you just don't have Cyclone, right? You had to use it to disengage and help out Alaric there, as the clone's going to have to come out to get over the wall, and you're just losing all your camps for your Ozan here. It just feels like a really slow bleed out for Rich Gang, as they get picked twice at the dragon. Wait, Crowley just snapped forward. Almost a punish there.
Flash, Tempered Fate. Oh, it's supposed to be the Talia without Flash that's more at risk, but Alaric going forward gets stunned into a wall, and the engagement on the Crowley is swiftly punished. Nice Tempered Fate.
Nice reactions from Crowley into a nice punish from Reckless. The Tempered Fate was fantastic, and now it looks like Kevo he's gonna fall as well.
Oh no, he went forwards, tries to get the kill. The aggro is there. It's on an iconic champion, but this time that aggression just leads him into an early grave.
Yeah, he knows he's dead there either way. Has to try and send it forward. Corki picks up the kill in the 1v1. He's stronger than Kevo in that state. Maybe we flash the Q for Corki, but then you're expending so much. So just a really good punish once again from Velia from behind. Just forcing the 1v1 from Kevo right there, and you're really, really suffering now because that Triforce spike, you're going to be delayed on that Mora mana. You're missing waves down in bot side, and once again, it feels like, Lost RATONES using their strong bot lane duo with the double range lane and the Corki in the early game to their advantage.
Yeah, we called it out in draft, and it is playing out that way. But then again, this is Lost RATONES, who were notorious for actually having mediocre early games, frankly. Yeah, there's some great laning players here, but guaranteed someone gets caught, someone misplays, the gold eventually goes the other way, and then it's the mid-game recovery with really good macro and team fighting, all these other things that we've been praising for Lost Returns. The early game really hasn't been that. This game, though, it very much has been. Herald's just up. Witch Gang are in the river, and Velia, having taken the Scuttle Crab's going to back away from the 4 odd members around. Are we going to see a fight, though? I think with the Corki and the Bard on the other side of the map, probably just going to play for the turret with Nash's Tooth instead.
Yeah, it looks like, it's going to be a cross map right there as Rift Herald actually resets. I think trying to fight here, if you're Rich Gang, it does make sense because, you know, this is probably like the most item parity you're going to have for a while.
Yeah.
Second item's going to come in for LR, definitely. First for them, as you can see, a needlessly large rod on the Azir. So trying to fight 1 to 1.5 items is generally ideal. Unfortunately, not going to find that fight. And as LR, you know, in response, they're going to say, okay, you can have Herald. We're just going to cross map down in bot side, get more gold onto Nemesis, and accelerate him to a second item really, really quick, which is going to hit hard, because, I mean, that's looking like a death cap right there, or a shadow flame.
Oh, Kevo, he's in so much danger. Does have flash. You're going to need to burn it for the rocket. It's a big one. Headshot. Kevo's down.
That's a big kill right there. Killing an Ezreal with a flash after the Tempered Fate hits. Not flashing that Tempered Fate is going to cost him his life. And that's another pick. It's just domination and with no room for error from Lost Ratones right here. And I'm really not sure at this point, what do you do? Because that's going to be a bunch of gold. Watch Azir as Azir recalls. I guarantee you that's going to be at least another needlessly large rod.
Yeah, there's going to be a dragon as well. That's Soul Point in the background as well.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a really early Soul Point. That's if that is Soul Point, yeah, it is. That's going to be a really, really, really early Soul Point. And we're staring down the barrel at a 21-minute Soul, by the way. Which Rich Gang have to make sure to be online for, as we try to cross map top for the Wukong. And
Bounties
a
at 17
small
minutes.
Gold injection. They still haven't picked up a kill, Sam. There's not been a kill.
Adam, stop. Maybe this is it. Maybe this is it. The moment you call for it, Nemesis, no! He's out. Grand Starfall. Velia's now in a 1v2 and says, yeah, I can win these. Getting shoved back there with the Introver Strikes Part 3. Alaric very low, gets the mount up, but he doesn't get the knock away. Last Comet Spear. We're doing flash. Jump forwards with the shield vault. And now look at Matix. Reckless is coming. And I think the Cassandre, not even then can they find the kill. Crowdy's going to go Valkyrieing forward and say, yeah, welcome to Valhalla. I'm going to deliver you personally. Crowdy on a rampage.
An absolutely insane play. I mean, surviving that play from Nemesis and then the Pantheon ult in. I want you guys, if we get a replay of that, to keep an eye on the sidesteps from the Pantheon. But another fight up top.
Dehast ends up taking so much damage just from their raw autos there. Can maybe try and get over a wall, does wall top out, but there's Kevo waiting. I think that will be finally a first kill. Kevo gets the shutdown. Rich Gang on the board. It'll just come at the low price of a tier 2 bot side.
A low price if we're on opposite day. I think that's going to be a lot of gold for Crowny right there. 363 gold each. Tier 2s giving them up is always going to be a little bit rough. TP coming in as well. Can we slow chase here? If we're Alaric and Dehaste, it doesn't look like we're going to be able to, so it's going to be a kill onto Baus. And a tier 1, I can't remember exactly if that tower had already been taken, but if it did, then at best, that was a tier 1 and Baus, or a tier 2 and 2 kills down bot. Take a look at this 1v1 with Pantheon that's going to come after Nemesis escapes. It's a nice attempt onto Nemesis' life with the collapse right here, Q3, and then I feel like maybe he should have held ulti for a cancel onto something. But the main point I want to make here is watch all the Qs that don't hit Velia. There's a Q3 that misses onto Velia because of the flip from Alaric. And then there's going to be another Q right here that misses again onto Velia. Another one again. That's 3 in a row from Matix. And he just runs out of gas. That's a 4th, by the way, just to make things worse, even though it wouldn't have made a difference. And Matix, in the end, he's just going to fall. You got to wonder if Velia would have fallen overall there and maybe traded 1 for 1. Those Qs had landed, but still very rough, and that's just 2 items now on Pantheon.
Yeah, he's got a Black Cleaver at this point. When you've got the Cork, he's already 4-0. Shredding resist with the Gatling gun as well. Anybody who steps forwards into that pair of AD, I was going to say AD carry, I suppose at this point, Pantheon kind of is really in his own way. And they're going to get the other turret top side. It's just going to get shredded. They got the tier 1 into the tier 2 bot side. There's another tier 1 falling in this top side as we look at it as well. Reckless will trade onto Matix for no damage, but aura farm. And they'll back away at this point. Very happy with the gold lead. That's 6,000 gold in their favor. Souls in 2 minutes. Lost Ratones. This is by the numbers, and the numbers look mighty huge, mate.
Did Baus just not farm a Giga Flower in his face right there?
I think he didn't.
Well, He's either changed or didn't realize. Fair enough if he didn't realize. It's in the bush, right? It's kind of hard to see, but I was kind of twitching because those flowers are broken.
There's so much golden XP. Like, what's the numbers on it? Is it something like every petal's worth? You know, like
force
and XP, right? Yeah, exactly. I'm trying to like what the gold value is. I remember it being something like a 10 petal difference is about 1,000 gold, something like that. Thank you very much
for
the
stats.
production.
Observers, my goats, 107 XP.
It's a lot of XP.
Interesting.
Woo.
It is, and we're going to get more flowers now to take a look at. As RATONES, they're kind of cleaning this up. They've got a Zia DPS.
Yeah, and a Corki at 2 items. It's gone.
Oh, he has a death cap on us here.
Yeah, he does.
He has a Nash's death cap at 20 minutes. No budget items with the Rylai's here. We're doing damage.
That's just a kill on the Dehasti. He just got Grand Starfalled.
And that's a Taliyah dead and silent. He has TP as well, but he's not even going to bother casting it. He's going to save it for the soul fight. But is he even going to be up for it? Is the question. 30 seconds up. He's going to have time to walk out from base and run down with Taliyah ulti. So I think, you know what? You know, if you're Rich Gang now, you just have to send it, don't you? At this soul fight, you can't give over soul. You can't give over mountain soul here. It's just not going to be great if you're playing this kind of burst composition and low DPS comp with the Ezreal. Yeah, dehaste. That's a point and click. He tries to combo, doesn't quite time it perfectly well enough, and he falls through Archangel. So 370 gold in the pocket of Velia, who has now used that to pick up tier 3 boots. And I'm trying to be optimistic for Rich Gang, man. Like, what did I say here?
Look, their name is a lie. They are not rich. They are extremely poor this game. Lost Returns have taken them for what they want. Exactly. The poorest of gangs. Yeah, no.
It's not ideal. How can they walk in? They have Cassante, Rich Gang, to be able to walk in through Banana. Lost Returns aren't going to be able to control that exactly. You see a front-to-back trying to form here for Lost Returns as Azir TP's behind. No crazy flank angles. I do believe...
Oh,
wait, hang on. Hold up a minute, Baus.
Baus just 1v2'd and blew up the Taliyah. Now, Kevo needs to run away. His Nemesis is looking for that Ezreal. Has to flash on out. Does have an Arcane Ship Edge available. The Cosmic Binding lands in Crowny, goes unstoppable. A shove into the wall, dragged all out. That might well be the end of Velia, but no, he's still got a flash. And Crowny picks up another. They'll keep going for more because Baus is saying, I have got so much burst at this point. Matic needs to try and footwork out, but he ain't Messi. He's on the other team, and the bowl player is just a little better for Lost Returns. We look at the replay because Baus just blows up the Taliyah.
Yeah, I mean, Baus in the backline, I didn't even quite catch him. The camera's panning there now. You can see the damage just insta. Yeah, one shot, W into kiting the phase rush into flash W. What a crazy amount of damage with the skill. I mean, see, the problem is, usually Baus has died 4 or 5 times by now. That hasn't happened. So my man's has just farmed for a very long time, and even this kidnap doesn't even work out. Velia kind of just runs away and gets a spear on top of Alaric's head as well. So didn't quite catch that. But initialize.
Yeah.
Can I do any kind of take backsies on my prediction? Is that allowed?
No.
Or do we have to
No. I look. Okay. You know what? I'm not allowed to do that because I'm here as your co-caster. I'm biased. I have to support you in your choices. You have to request it from Jamada, and I don't know how kind a man
Jamada, you called me out on Arn's desk for saying that you know, Rich Gang wired me money for believing in them. They didn't, and now I'm regretting it. So
they should have paid you for this. That's cold, son.
But Mountain Soul, at least you have Rel Q Shield Break.
You've got the passive, right? That you can shred resist with your passive. You know, Mold Breaker. You steal resist. You're tankier now every time you hit an auto or an ability.
Yeah, trying to collapse on side lane versus Baus. I feel like this is just his domain, though. I don't think you're going to be able to chase in there with that phase rush, so going to be a failed attempt. And there's a global down for Dehaste as an engage comes through mid.
Ozan's dead.
Oh,
There's no other way around it. Has to flash over the wall, and Crowdy says, yeah, no, you don't. He just has to burn Valkyrie. He's still got flash. He's still got barrier. Not threatened in the slightest, and just punished the Cosmic Binding onto Kevo. The Ezreal gets blown up as well. Oh, no. Crowdy continues to look for more. He's flashing for it. His belief in the Corki looking well-founded right now. He thinks his champion is broken. Grand Star on the backside is immediately seismic shoved, and Velia may now be a little deep, but I don't think they care. Reckless gets to Has. The Rocket Bell came up forwards. There's a counter-strike empowered by 2 items worth of AP, and they'll bring down Alaric as well. It's Matix alone in the base as Lost Returns begin to run rampant these structures not long for the world.
Domination in every single lane for Los Ratones, almost every single neutral object. I mean, look, from start to finish, it felt like they've been in control. As Matic's going to try a last-ditch effort to defend the Nexus, but he's going to be taken down, shredded, brought down to 0 as LI on the base.
They will take down the Nexus turrets, and Los Ratones say that our early games being weak. Well, imagine what happens when they look as good as this. It is domination. It is ruthless. It is relentless. And Los Ratones will claim game 1 in emphatic fashion.
It's that Naruto scene with the training weights off, I feel like, for Los Ratones. Dropping them and just all of a sudden playing insanely well. Yeah.